is up, YouTube? This is your boy.
This is your boys. Yeah. The art boys.
The art boys.
Art boys coming in.
We ain't good boys, we bad boys.
We art boys, bro.
Art boys.
There are no good or bad boys here, just art boys. But we are the bad boys of the boy band.
Yeah.
Two bad boys specifically.
Yeah. You know.
And our band name is Two Bad Boys. We're going to actually record now.
Okay.
All right.
Testing.
Texas. Actually, I'm just going to change it to Texas now.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning, that's what we're going to go with. We're
Sure.
going to start off with that.
Texas.
All right.
Long year, huh?
Right. Once again, we did not write a script, so we're just going to kind of flow through this video and
yeah, we're going to
see what's going on.
Talk about the video, and then probably talk about some cons coming up, and then plans for the future.
Talk about some lore here.
Yes.
The massive lore.
Yeah, the massive lore in the book to go with it.
Right. Well, let's get this thing started.
Alrighty.
Alright, so here we have you drawing a thing.
Yes. I can tell that I've cheated and put a grid onto the paper, and I think I'm explaining to you the rule of thirds.
No, you don't need to explain to me the rule of thirds. That was Vincent.
Was that Vincent? Was Vincent there when this was happening?
No, but you needed to explain the rule of thirds to him.
Oh. I did have to do that, didn't I?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, oh man, poor Vincent.
Poor Vincent.
Vincent's a good buddy of ours, but man, he is, sometimes he'll just say something and you're like, are you okay?
Are you alright, man?
Is everything
like,
okay? Like,
are
God.
things good at the house? Like, we love you, man. Like, let us know.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, your cries for help aren't as funny, so we don't really know if they're a cry for help.
I mean, they did buy a dog, so I'm guessing something must be going wrong.
Oh, you're right. 2 dogs. That's danger territory.
Yeah. God. One of the things to note about this picture in particular, too, is this is my second attempt on this character, the Raven Queen. Mm-hmm. The first attempt was a more classical approach using the more mucha, more art
You're going to notice me zooming around everywhere. I'm trying to zoom, and I was lazy and didn't edit them out.
That's fine.
Just letting the fans
we tried to do more classical style Greco-Roman, and then we just weren't feeling it.
It wasn't working. It didn't look good.
Yeah,
she had like a weird, hyper-realistic
bird head.
Yeah, that was a weird little stop there.
Raven head. Actually.
A raven head. Yeah, my head.
Technically, it's a raven, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is
realistic bird head.
Yeah, so this one was a more of I guess a Viking Gaelic approach or Norse mythology, in the sense of the design for the outfit as well as the weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
Because ravens are, I guess, more connected to Norse mythology.
It's like Odin.
Yeah, Odin and all that stuff than it is to Greco-Roman and Art Nouveau styles.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we kind of I kind of diverted and tried to think about alternative ways to approach this character. I still kept the idea of this character being in control over fate and death. Hence, you'll see later. She's holding a pair of scissors and a string in the other hand. Kind of, that also goes back to the the more Greco-Roman style, though.
Mm-hmm.
But
because in D&D, this character is someone who controls life and death, I believe.
Yes, that was the original inspiration. Was that character from D&D that isn't basically in charge of death and making sure things stay dead that are supposed to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we have another character that's going to be coming up in this series that's basically antithesis of this character, who is a necromancer and just really on bad terms with this character.
Definitely.
So one of the things that we're trying to do is we had an original idea was going to be just a book that was only knights, and it was just going to be,
a bunch of pictures of knights.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Doing whatever.
Look at these cool knights, bro.
This is my knight OC in 3/4, the
Yeah.
white background.
Right. And then we saw, kind of as it was going, it was like, oh, that's a little weak. I feel like there could be a bit more in this world.
Well, because I think you had started drawing this before we got to that idea, right? You started on
because I had the
original Birdhead one.
Yeah, I started on the original Birdhead one as just a random one-of thing that I just thought would look cool. Mm-hmm. Then I when we started talking about this character being a more Gaelic sort of thing, and I wanted this character to be kind of. I have a knight that's specifically supposed to be in the service of this Raven Queen.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to draw that. That's the one I'm trying to paint, actually.
Oh, it's that one. Okay,
I wanted to, have this character be with that knight in this knight book. that's when I started realizing that maybe we need to go a little deeper. And then you had a lot of characters you were showing me, and I realized.
Well, actually, I think it comes from when you wanted to redraw this in a different pose.
That's right.
And that was how we got to the owl lady. That's going to be
next video.
in
That's
the
right.
Next video, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny actually.
That was how we got to a book of mostly like more characters.
Yeah.
I think this was like a one-off, and then the night thing was separate from this.
Yeah, there's a very interesting thing about watching your base ideas come to life in certain ways.
Yeah, it's weirdly organic sometimes.
Yeah, but basically, yeah, it kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. I didn't understand fantasy football. Mm-hmm. Just because to me it was like, oh, you just picked a bunch of.
Also, there's no dragons in fantasy.
Yeah,
football.
Right, exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with that sport? It's not even fantasy.
Not what I was going for, but sure. It's basically like, you just have your team, the team people, whatever. They're just kind of lined up, and that's about it. It's not. Yeah. There's not really much depth to it. So when we were talking about the Night book a long time ago, I was like, that seems fine. It just doesn't need to be anything too crazy. And then after seeing all these knights that I've drawn in the past, and I was like, man, what are these people doing? I want to know what these people are doing.
Who are you?
Yeah, that's kind of what brought about.
Why are you a mysterious shark riding knight?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to know more about these characters rather than just being like, it's kind of cool.
Oh, these are the like threads, and then this is their axe.
Yeah,
that cauldron looks really cool. It changes a couple times, or it changes later when you ink it.
It
looks a little dirt. It looks different now.
It's a little dirtier in the inking, because I wanted to make it look. Yeah, and there's the original. Yeah, that was the original.
Yeah, you can see the original parts of it.
Yeah, because I went to go look at the skulls that I had drawn beforehand, and then I realized one of the things I want to do is I started on behest of Wes to add more items to these skulls in particular.
Like give some character to these.
Yeah, I personally started doing this where like you see some of the skulls are upside down, right side up. Because for some reason every pile of skulls I've ever seen in illustration,
perfectly piled.
Yeah, they're always really well piled. So
perfectly piled. Well, they want a very ordered pile.
Right.
You see.
So I just kind of figured, it'd probably be easier to just have multiple faces, more weapons in the piles, things like that, to go with it. And I think that's something that I really like to put into work is. What's the word I'm looking for?
A little bit of disorder, maybe?
Yeah, disorder. Like, my brother is always a big fan of asymmetry.
Yeah.
Just because symmetry in nature is not really a thing, per se. Aside from, in animals and things like that. More in the terms of, like, the natural order of things.
Yeah.
Like, trees themselves aren't really symmetrical. They're pretty,
they kind of grow where they need to.
Yeah, so the idea of that being more natural.
We had an idea for like all these spirit hands that we wanted to get into like every kind of work.
Yeah.
So this is going over the original sketch.
One of the things also that came up, the reason why I also was thinking about doing the owl, and I'll probably talk more about this when we actually do the video for the owl. But one of the reasons why I wanted to do the Raven Queen again after I finished this is because I was like, man, this is really dense. I want something a bit more simple. And as you can see, like there's a lot going on in this picture just already. Like,
yeah.
Character has weird crow, raven hair.
It's very metal.
Yeah, all right. This cauldron with whatever mysterious liquid that's smoking and turning into these peat spirits.
And weird faces on it and stuff too. Possibly alive.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows actually.
Yeah. Then this weird axe in the foreground. This,
I like the way all the spirits are interacting with each other.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
It makes them seem like they're vengeful.
Yeah. Like they're alive.
Yeah. Moving a lot of this also too is trying to figure out the hands. I also did this on a separate sheet because I was like, gosh, I have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, a lot of the time we kind of come up with these while we're in the middle of drawing them.
Which is nice. That makes it feel a little bit more organic as we go, but at the same time it can be a little...
I think that's where I was poking about something. Was that about changing their hand to make it look like the guitar is being played?
Yeah, you made a joke about that because there was like an axe and it kind of looked like a guitar in the general, but... I think the way I didn't want to have too many spirits in there either, and then like we were talking about like the hands not being in the right spot, things like that. It was tough trying to get everyone interacting with each other just right, just so that we could there we go.
Yeah, because that long hand, is that in the final one?
It is, yeah.
Is it? Okay, I can't remember.
They're all there.
I think they're all there, right?
It's just
Oh, it was just defining it. Yeah, and then we'll
Yeah.
switch to the inking phase right now.
Yeah, this is I think it was at this point was when I started realizing that it was maybe a bit too dense. But I kind of actually really like how it turned out in the very end after I added the color. But
I like when you do stuff that's dense.
yeah, no, I understand too.
It looks good.
I understand like the need to do dense things every once in a while, but like I don't know. Sometimes I feel things get a little muddied and lost. So that's what prompted the change for the next piece. But I also really liked the what's the word? The techniques I used on the hair here. This was fun to bring out the old Sumi brush, and I feel like I don't know if you kept the part where I was fixing the brush tip.
Which one? I don't remember.
That was when I had to put it in my mouth too.
I think it might not have been on camera.
I could have sworn you put that on camera, but oh well.
No.
Yeah, I had to. The thing was frayed, so I do what I usually do whenever I have a frayed brush. Put it in my mouth and use the saliva. Yeah.
Yeah, this was really cool to see you like paint with the big brush like this.
Yeah, this is fun to use.
You
with
almost
old,
never do this.
Yeah, old Sumi ink stuff is a lot of fun. It was a little challenging to make sure to get it all gray. That's why afterwards there was a lot of white out, a lot of water just over top of it, and just trying to make sure that it didn't get too muddied, and then also it didn't fall down. And go
It stays pretty well on just the hair.
Yeah, that was me having to, because I had to keep going
constantly,
and then whenever I needed to go out just a little bit. But I feel like one of the things I might have, if I could have done this a little better, is not going to full black just immediately.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
then maybe waited it for it to dry just a little better, and then gone in with a bit more white out to make a bit more texture.
That's fair, yeah.
But I think overall I'm still pretty happy with how it came out. And this is just more of like a hindsight. Like I'll learn it for the next time I attempt to do a character that has such bizarre clouds or anything like that involved with it.
Yeah, we came up with this hair idea because first you showed me you wanted to turn the bird head around.
Yeah.
And I saw that on my phone and just thought this is even worse.
Yeah.
And then there is a picture somewhere, or I thought of something I had seen where someone's hair turned into birds.
Yeah, I think
then that was how we got here.
Yeah.
So.
And then that was the process of me making sure it was dry enough to get white out on it, and I think that was me also looking at, look at all this ink on my arm.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch.
Yeah, there's plenty of white out in this picture to begin with. I just think, there's...
Yeah, you go back and do like a whole bunch.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, I did technically do...
This whiteout pen was like one of the best things you ever bought.
Oh, for sure.
100.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely much better now.
yeah, you went back over it with a bunch of whiteout.
Oh yeah, Bob Ross did. Great, thank God. I was like looking at it, I was like, I fixed that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't worry. You haven't seen it in a while. I've been watching it for days,
Yeah, that's funny. Just thinking about it, I'm like, I don't recall this. Oh gosh, it's looking better, thank God. I'm not a fool.
No, you made it.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, this is I also like the idea of it's a little hard to tell, and like the finished product too is like the white streaks at the top being more like lightning almost. And then I brought out the real tools.
The Asmar pen.
The Asmar pen.
The Asmar pen. Yeah, we were on stream, and when it was scratching, someone said it was like soothing, so it reminded me of that ASMR stuff.
Yeah, it's just, God, that's such a
That
weird...
is a weird fetish.
And it's weird too, is because people try to tell me it's not fetishy, and I'm like, anything we've ever seen that was, quote, ASMR, or ASMR, or whatever it is, that was a fetish.
That's a fetish.
That's a fucking fetish.
That's 100% a fetish.
God, that's a fetish.
The video has a cute girl doing something in it in a weird way. Fetish. End of story.
That is definitely a fetish.
That's how fetishes work.
Man, speaking of fetishes, my fetish of this picture going back into, good territory.
It was never bad.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, like, as the artist, you're usually like, oh no, oh gosh, oh no, am I doing it right?
That's funny.
Yeah, there's always a lot of panic whenever you're getting into, like, oh no, should I just start all over territory?
This is when I was telling you that you needed to add a Stormcrow lightning bolt.
Yes, that's right. I remember that because we were talking about some Magic the Gathering lore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no.
Right there. There it is.
Yep. And cleaning it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is, I think, right after. Yeah, there's like a lot of detail that went into this one.
Yeah, there was a lot of ink on the hair.
Yeah, just to make sure everything looked right. Yeah, as you can tell, the page is already kind of crumpling.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's back to the
normal style.
Back to the real character.
Yeah.
The real main character.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely very inspired. What was the name of that artist that we met at Acon that did fantasy work?
Oh, I don't remember it. The Ice Giant, right? That's their like business name, right? Or which person?
The one that was on the One Fantastic Week.
Oh, the other one. Oh, that was Annabelle Lewis.
Annabelle Lewis, that's right. I was actually
hers is all ink, like nothing but ink.
Yeah, I was when I thought of how to do the hair. That's what her work inspired the hair.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
she's really cool.
Local celebrity.
Yes.
Local internet celebrity.
Yeah.
Up there with the God and Anime Kid.
Up there, yeah, that's true. The guy is in the.
He is a local celebrity.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that was what the big inspiration was for at least this hair, and I'm glad that I kind of leaned in on this hair. With like hair turning into some weird shit and then kind of like going off.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it kind of started, I think, with the sun. With the.
Yeah, well, no, it's a little bit actually with Zelda.
You're right. Yeah,
with the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, because Ganon's hair turns into Zelda in that thing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That was technically the first.
That's the oldest one I know where you did that trick off the top of my head, or it's like the modern start of it.
I think that's what that was the first one I started doing it like that.
So
I can not really see.
His face came out pretty well. I like it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
It looks very like stern.
Yeah, because I mean, you gotta be stern when it comes to death.
Yeah, they could double as the librarian in a movie. Or something.
Shh! I'm guiding souls.
Right. This is a library of souls. Be quiet.
Ooh, I'm gonna write that down actually.
Ooh, done.
Library of Souls.
Library of Souls. You heard it here first.
Yeah, we're doing it. One of the things I have here next to our lovely studio is a book of just ideas for the book itself.
Mm-hmm.
Library of Souls, and we got there.
Done. He's written it.
It is.
you heard it live.
So it has been written.
In a recording.
So shall it pass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was weird too. I was trying to do a bit of like Jack Kirby, weird bubbly style that he does whenever he does like space effects or.
Yeah, originally that was going to reflect something, and then we just couldn't think of what was going to be in it.
Yeah,
and then it was like, more complicated to have it reflect something.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's already too. We already have a dickload of shit in this picture.
And a little bit ago was where the little preview was where I said the hands were worse than Attack on Titan.
Yes, that's correct.
So the clip on Instagram.
Yes, you did tell me those hands were worse than Attack on Titan. And to this day, we'll never forgive you.
Good. You shouldn't. Just strive to get revenge instead of forgiveness.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said I shouldn't do revenge yesterday.
Well, that was for other things.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
Look, revenge is on a case-by-case basis.
Gotcha.
You see, that's the best way to think about revenge.
So you know what's actually funny in watching these videos, and I realized one of the things I actually really like in watching videos of artists doing things is seeing their studio. And you look in the background and you see little random shit. Because I was like, oh shit, that's my cup.
There's a bunch of crap piled on this table.
Yeah, there's my Pokemon cup, you know? Yeah. I got that at Walmart. I remember that.
Oh my god.
What?
It's nostalgic over your cup.
Yeah, I like that cup. I used to drink out of it, and then eventually I realized, it doesn't hold enough water.
No.
I'm just going to use it for my brushes.
Yeah, it's much better for artwork.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it always seems to work out. You find some random thing, you're like, oh, I'll use this for what it's actually intended for, and then all of a sudden, now it's just holding pens, or now it's doing art things.
Yeah, that's like the GameCube cup I have.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it from a Sam Goody when they were going out of business, and now it's my change cup.
Yeah, and I got that Power Ranger, Red Ranger cup.
That's true.
I got that from Parker, I think. And then now it's holding my... which one are we holding there? Oh, pencils. It's holding my pencils.
Yeah. Oh, this is the scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. We had to get a lot of references. Also, speaking of reference, so this picture, the posing I actually ended up choosing, went back to Judeo-Christian lore. of the Pieta.
Yeah, with the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, because me being, disgruntled Catholic,
Obviously.
gotta put any random religious thing I can in there.
What is the joke? Anyone who went to Catholic school is now an atheist?
It's true. Oh, man. Oh, it's so tragic.
Alright.
I just remember Rio was talking about, it's like...
Getting tased?
Yeah, getting tased, but that was because she actually deserved it or some shit is what she said.
She said she was antagonizing the security guard.
Yeah, and then, what was it? She said, I was someone's trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, wow. It's so nonchalant about being someone's trauma. That's funny. Yeah, I love it. But, yeah, no, they're, gosh, it's really funny, guys, whenever you find, what's the word?
The stuff you hear?
Stuff you hear,
find inspiration.
Or you find inspiration as well. Both technically work for this.
Both are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these faces kind of remind me of the faces that are on
the girl from Crown.
Oh, yes.
The other work that we do?
Yes, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot
She
of...
has the masquerade outfit behind her.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things you find reference to. I do love looking at old cultures and stuff like that and then taking inspiration and turning them into other things.
Right.
Big fan of, I don't know which, I know I'm a really big fan of like Italian culture, like Renaissance, Roman, that sort of stuff. I also really like Gaelic, Norse, Arthurian legends and things like that. I've been really into the Indian
I'm just a huge fan of like Indian style. I love all their outfits.
Yeah, they've got a really good style.
And
also, their culture though is pretty interesting too, with their the religions and things like that. The way they do things, I always find it fascinating. I think religion is just a really fascinating subject.
I'd agree,
and that's probably why it always seems to bleed its way into anything I draw.
Yeah, because everyone can kind of relate to religion on a base level.
Yeah,
it's one of the founding pillars of culture,
dogma, and all that stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about here. We just kind of like doing something.
I think we were talking about the skulls.
Yeah, the skulls needing more decoration or things like that.
And then they didn't end up in the picture, which is kind of funny.
Sailor V, life goes on.
Didn't you like scan it wrong or something?
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Or either
it's still the right size for printing though, right?
Yeah, it's the right size for printing. I just don't know what happened in particular.
I remember the bottom was cut off, and you're like, "This is fine."
Well, it was because it wasn't going to scale properly.
Oh, that's right.
I knew it wasn't going to scale properly when it got there, but I was planning on cutting off the top a bit more than I was going to cut the bottom off. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's actually better to cut the bottom off because the bottom is so dense, and it's competing with the top. And again, back to the rule of thirds.
Ah, yes.
Everything comes full circle in these types of talks.
Yes, Vincent America will be able to tell you all about the rule of thirds.
God, it was so weird when he was talking to us about like, guys, ever since you mentioned the rule of thirds, I've been seeing it everywhere.
That's all I see now.
That's all I see. I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's like he just gained high enough insight in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
To see the like Amidala's.
Yeah.
Or he just got the shades and they live.
Yeah, that's probably, that's
I see it now.
Put on the shades, man. No, don't make me put on the shades.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, rule of thirds was saying that the top part was competing with the bottom part, and I realized that too, that it's probably better to not have as much density on the bottom as is on the top. And now, here we are. Piece looks fine to me.
It came out pretty good.
Like hindsight 2020, I wish I could have had more of the skulls in there, but like, I feel like it would have been a bad...
I do feel like the skull under the face was definitely competing with the face on the cauldron. So when it got cut off a little bit, I thought it was better.
Yeah, so, things that happen every once in a while. It's not too bad. Also, I tried to make... This is also with the thing where we're like, oh, it's just a guitar now.
Yeah, because it looks like a guitar.
Yeah. It's more of a banjo.
Yeah, now it's a banjo, which is even more metal.
It's true.
Dude, Steve Martin, Banjo Master. Look it up if you don't know.
Oh,
it's the two brains. That's what gives him the power to play banjo that hard.
I know. Speaking of multiple brains, I think we were talking about Demon Slayer and how apparently it jumped the shark or something like that.
I have no idea because I'm not caught up on the manga.
I know, there's just a random part where it says he's got like 7 brains and 12 hearts.
Nice. Thanks for the spoilers.
Yeah, and it's not even really big of a spoiler. It's just like a, hey, the guy, and I didn't even say who had the 12 brains.
You're right.
And
That's
7
true.
hearts.
That's true. Obviously, it's the demon with 12 brains and 7 hearts.
Yeah, obviously. So,
yeah,
you know,
so thanks.
for all you haters who thought I spoiled something, fuck off.
Thanks, spoiler man. With the power to be inconsiderate, spoiler man.
You know me. Super inconsiderate of other people's feelings and emotions.
Right.
Oh, this is where the spirits start to look really cool.
Yeah.
Once they get put in. I like the one on the other side. This one in particular looks really cool.
Yeah, it's because I tried to do, what's the word? I used microns for this one, so it would just make them seem all the more different.
Mm-hmm.
With the intention of just like, whenever you make something that's weird or otherworldly or just something that doesn't look like it belongs.
Yeah, they're more ethereal, so the lines are thinner.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have as hard of lines because they're not
Or and they're not clean,
in the world.
and they're like sketchy and
Mm-hmm.
you know, not really coming together, things like that.
Yeah, they're not fully within the world.
They're not, you know.
They're like a projection.
Mhm.
You know?
But, yeah, this is cool. I actually enjoy these. I don't know how to put this. When it comes to doing like stuff like this, I always really enjoy ideas of using different, you know,
The line weights.
line weights to try to,
Oh, this is where you start painting.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
different line weights to what's the word I'm looking for? To showcase, you know, texture or
Yeah.
showcase like ideas and things like that in a different way. Yeah.
It's kind of like how in manga, how they do different text boxes to show
Yes.
how people talk differently.
Right, yeah. No, okay, so this was another technique I've been learning about that I've always wanted to apply to art
Mm-hmm.
was...
So this is where you throw the salt on.
yeah. So,
Right.
where it's like I have the light box on to kind of showcase that there's art underneath it and then do the... I've done this many a time before, but I never really used the light box for this purpose,
you didn't
at least.
really do. Yeah, you never painted it right over it like that.
Yeah, I usually kind of, what's the word? I'll just kind of paint it off to the side and then just pray to God it matches up in the right way.
Yeah.
This one today.
Also, most of them were used for backgrounds.
Yeah, and
So that's different.
yeah, this is being used for kind of the coloring aspect of it.
Yeah, this is basically how it was colored.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really do much digital coloring on this.
Not really, no. Most of the digital coloring was on the character herself, and then on the axe.
Yeah.
Just
to make them stand out more.
yeah. And then came in, tried to make it a little slightly cleaner. I didn't want this to be too clean, just because this character wasn't a clean character in the sense of the word. I wanted there to be
they're rough.
Yeah.
You know, like ethereal. It's very.
Oh, you can see the text from my girlfriend there.
Yeah, right.
Love you, sweetie.
Yeah. To make sure she doesn't send anything you wouldn't want on camera.
I don't think she's the type, for sure. I mean, I don't think she'll probably send us like hearts or
Exactly, disgusting stuff.
lewd
Pictures of hand holding.
Honestly, she did send me that this morning. She's
disgusting.
she's
Bro,
like-
don't air your dirty laundry out here.
Oh, it's funny. It's cute. It was. She sent a picture. It was a tweet from that Recovery of an MMO Junkie.
Oh.
And it just says, like, I waited 10 episodes for this fucking hand-holding, and I have never been more excited in my life.
Oh my god.
I was like, that's a good way to wake up.
That's funny. Disgusting, but funny.
Yeah, no. All that stupid, disgusting hetero shit, man.
Disgusting stuff, man.
Gross.
Disgusting.
But yeah, no. Then, this is I kind of like doing paintings like this in the more, what's the word I'm looking for? Impressionistic kind of style.
Yeah,
like
a bit
where,
more freeform.
yeah, where it's not like...
Because you're not...
I know I can't do hyperrealism, and I've always kind of gone on the school of thought that hyperrealism in painting seems wrong.
I mean, I like realism.
No, I like realism. There's a big difference between
switch to digital.
realism and hyperrealism.
That's true, I guess.
Because like hyperrealism in today's age just makes no sense. We have cameras.
Yeah, it is a little odd.
And I feel like hyperrealism doesn't help. For me personally, and I don't want to knock anybody who's into hyperrealism in their art and stuff like that, I just feel like with hyperrealism, what's the point?
Okay. You're saying you could just be a photographer.
Yeah, there's like I feel like painting is supposed to be able to capture not just a picture of somebody in a hyper-realistic manner, but evoke an emotion with the picture.
I see what you're saying.
And so, like,
you're saying that basically a painting that's just as good as like a 4K screenshot is the same thing.
Yes.
So
I mean, technically they're different because the amount of effort that went into them is very different.
Yeah, but you get what I mean.
Yes, I do get what you mean. I'm just trying to make myself clear that I'm not like going off and saying that people who paint hyper-realistic paintings aren't good.
Yeah,
they're extremely good. And
that's crazy good. I don't know. Yeah.
But for me, it's like I would rather go along the school of thought that painting can never be a photograph, and that you should lean in on what painting can do that photographs can't
do.
Yeah, even with magic of Photoshop nowadays. But like, paintings can evoke emotions using texture, using wild colors, things of that nature. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, makes sense. I get you. Everyone's got like a core philosophy behind their style.
And then, like, I don't know what to say other than that. Like, I just really like the concept of like you need to, push an emotion with color, and I want to push emotions that are like wild or radical.
You're looking to show something a camera can't capture.
Yes,
like
that's
that. Plus, it's not real world. I feel like a camera is really good. Obviously, camera is really good for the real world.
For sure. And since I do fantasy work too,
there are really nice. I have follow some Instagram stuff that's like fantasy photos and things like that of cosplayers who are in fantasy photos.
I mean, that's fine. I'm talking. Yeah, but that's kind of different from what we were talking about with the painting and things like that. I don't know. It's a tough crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an artist and it's your personal thing, that's the whole point of art.
Yeah, it's taking your personal.
Yeah, if everyone had the same idea about art, even within the same genre, it would be boring.
True.
So.
Yeah, so this is me putting an overlay over it to try to get it a bit more blue. Photoshop's great sometimes. I really love the fact that I can get all these different colors to come out of the watercolor that I make and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't remember what happens next. It's funny, actually. I was not really planning on doing a video of this one because I was like, oh, it doesn't really need a video. I'm not going to do much. I'm just going to go, hit the multiply and go on the character. I'm glad we still filmed it anyway. But
yeah, I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah,
I like having the whole process on film.
It makes sense.
It's interesting to see because a lot of people just see the finished picture and they think that's basically what you start and end with.
Yeah.
They're like, line 1 to this. like they think this is, you just start and then you get this with minimal, kind of thing. Pretty much, yeah. It's like, I would like to art, but, that you don't go through all of those processes.
Right.
Like, you got to start with a really simple sketch.
It's actually funny.
And then you got to pile on, because people try to draw the finished. A lot of the time, that's what stops people from drawing is they try to draw the finished drawing first.
Right. It's actually funny about this method I'm using. This is actually an old method for how comics used to be done.
Oh, really?
In terms of having the color underneath and then overlaying it, because original inks for comics were done on vellum.
Oh,
clear vellum.
That's cool.
Yeah, what they would do is they would put the ink on clear vellum, tape it to the pencil, and then send it off. And then what they do is they would scan the ink in with the colors already printed and overlay them over. That's why a lot of colors always offset.
Are offset.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's an old printing trick. So that's kind of funny that a lot of my comics background does end up coming into play with this picture, with this piece and all the other illustration work I do.
Yeah. I do see where you could have, like now that it's digital, you could have maybe like cleaned the top up to make some of those birds pop a little better.
Right.
But it still looks really good. So I think the green in the middle really like captures you.
Yeah, I'm really glad with how the green turned out. And I was really happy with how the overlay that I chose managed to make it pop even more. Yeah,
this is where we start texturing.
Yeah. Usually whenever I do textures, I'll grab a bunch of different textures from Pinterest or something like that, and then kind of overlay it over with, and then make sure that they kind of blend in with the picture. That way it's not so jarring whenever you get like suddenly like, hey, whoa, what the heck?
Why is there a hyper realistic metal all of a sudden or something like that? Yeah,
because you want it to match the textures of the watercolor too. So and since I did digital coloring over it, now it's all really smooth, and I'm like, we can't have that be smooth.
Yeah.
And as you can see here, I'm just moving the screen up and down.
Yeah, I know. I think you're eyeing out what your plan is.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah. Sometimes the thing is that it doesn't capture the sub windows. So if you're changing colors and stuff or things like that, it doesn't capture those pop-up windows.
Oh, interesting.
That's why they're never here.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm not editing that shit out with, I don't know, green screen magic or something. It just doesn't come up. You know those windows that appear in the corner here, that'll be next to her head or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't capture those because it needs to be on screen capture to capture that.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I kind of like it when it doesn't capture those. If we were going to make a tutorial, we would change it to where those are captured. Because you need to explain those.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But that's not what we're doing. At least not yet.
No. This is just more about the process of the piece and the plans for the future, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I kind of go through things, and you can see that I kind of like, I think I attempted to grab another texture and kind of just went with a thing where I was going to put it all over the top of it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I ended up deciding against it. I can't remember if that's this piece or not. That happens a lot where I'll just be like, let's use this texture. Nah, never mind.
Yeah.
Let's use this screen tone. Never mind.
Yeah. I like to keep that in, though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the part here. I was thinking about doing that, and I was like, let's do this. Let me try to make it. I was like, oh, this does not look right. Terrible. Awful.
Yeah.
Never again.
Not even once. This is where you start making the scissors look a little older.
Yeah.
I think, and then this is where you do her fur.
Yeah.
Or the feather. Are they feathers or fur? It's like feathery.
Feathery fur?
Yeah.
Feathery fur, we'll go with that.
It's those thin feathers, I guess. Something like that. She's a raven queen. They gotta be feathers.
They gotta be, yeah. Those thin-lipped bitch.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Sean.
Right.
Good for you getting your leather work done. But yeah, no. Yeah, and then this is me trying to get it to match it a little bit better. It was a little rough. I think I afterwards do a lot more of like light work to make sure that the lights are a little bit more on each other because there's like green, and I want the green to reflect to make sure that the.
Yeah, the video's about to end though, so we're pretty much done.
Yeah, I think
this is basically the final piece. I think there's like in the last seconds there's a little bit of stuff, but that's it. She's done. So.
All right.
Yeah, just hanging out. So, I really like the way that piece came out.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it came out pretty well. And again, it did inspire and eventually lead into our next book project.
Yeah,
basically.
our next future project. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're kind of working on it right now as we work on the Lost Worlds, but it's like I'm trying to keep a good rhythmic schedule that's not too much for me, and but gets enough work done in a way that I'm happy with what we've got and what we're producing in each year, because I want to get it all done now, but again,
you can't really do that realistically.
Not realistically, not with how I work.
It's not realistic goal setting, man.
Yeah.
If your kids want to take a lesson from this video, it's realistic goal setting.
Realistic goal setting.
Even though it was just now mentioned. It's like the wheel of morality at the end of Animaniacs.
Yes.
That's exactly what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes. Morals.
I think the moral of the story is morals.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself, yeah.
And treat yourself well, or whatever.
We are going to have prints available of this soon, too.
Yes, we will,
I can't
actually.
wait till they get in.
Yeah, no, I've been actually refreshing the the UPS.
The UPS website. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work that way.
I want it to work that way, but
it's not going to.
No.
Oh, well, thanks for hanging out with us.
Appreciate y'all.
What are we going to be? We're going to be at C2E2?
Yep, C2E2 at the end of February, and then in the middle of March, we're going to be at Emerald City Comic Con up in Seattle, Washington. So if you're in Seattle, Washington watching this video,
we'll catch you there, or we'll catch you in the next video.
All right.
So have a good time.
See ya.